Hi there. My name is Holly Haynes, and I am a business strategist who helps you build a full-time business on a part-time schedule without depending on the social media drama. How good does that sound, right? So today's episode is all about ditching the sales calls. So if you hate selling, let's do this instead. Have you ever dreamed of not having sales calls and actually having clients flock into your inbox? This week's pep talk is all about our mastermind community, but I'm showing you the strategy behind the scenes of how we attract real people, get real results, and have a proven strategy to build relationships and grow your business. We are talking with our alumni and our zero pressure application process to help you get to the next level in your business. On this week's pep talk, I'm super excited because we are doing something we have never done before, and we're bringing in live client interviews that I did in a recent workshop a couple of weeks ago. So it's different, but also it answers the question, if you hate selling, try doing this instead, which I don't know about you, but I always hear, Holly, I hate selling. I just want people to fly into my inbox and purchase. I mean, I kind of think we all do, right? I call them unicorns. Some of you are unicorns and have literally flown into my inbox. And so I like to think that the strategy that I teach actually teaches you that. Not people actually flying, but people purchasing without awkward sales calls. So here's how we do it. Number one, we teach our anti-social strategy, which you hear me talk about all the time, which is basically thinking through you can make email and what I would say non-social channels work for you. So if you haven't downloaded the framework for this, you can totally free. Just go to hollymariehaynes.com/social and I'll teach you that part. The second part is we layer on relationship marketing. Relationship marketing is basically a weekly or daily, however frequently you want to do it, networking strategy that helps fuel your business. So this is like actual networking, talking to people, not necessarily selling, community events, and really digging into referrals, clients, case studies, and a couple of other cool things that we've done behind the scenes, to name a few. So today, I want you to hear ours. I want you to see how we do this, how we talk about relationship marketing and how it leads to actual profit. So I don't hard sell programs. I actually usually say that if you're having a conversation with me, the words that come out of my mouth are usually no pressure, which some sales coach is probably going to tell me is completely wrong, but it's worked. So in fact, I usually only do maybe 5 to 6 actual discovery or sales calls a year because I feel like I don't really need them. I already know you and we're having this conversation. If we need to jump on a quick call to talk through it, we can, but this method has worked really, really well. So if you hate selling, do this instead. How do you get rid of sales calls? Let your results speak for themselves. So today on our pep talk, I want to introduce you to our Collective Mastermind Community. We did this interview live, or these interview lives. I interviewed 6 of our students, sort of Mad Lib style. Some of them are alumni, some of them are current students. Again, this was live, a live call. So you're going to hear exactly what they do, who they are. They knew the questions ahead of time, but they didn't know which ones I was going to ask. And you're going to hear people in the background. So this is like real life. It actually happened. But I just thought it would be super cool and a way to sort of change up our Friday chats, right? So I don't know about you, but no discovery calls and highlighting other clients feels really, really, really good. And I can't wait for you to meet our students and our alumni. And who knows, check in with them, tell them that you heard them on this podcast, and maybe your next profitable partnership will be waiting. So Jenny, I think, gets the award for being in our mastermind the longest. I don't know. It's been a really long time. And I can remember the first time Jenny and I got on a call, and I remember getting off and I was like, Scott, Jenny is the most, she has to be in our community. She has to join. And then thankfully you did. And it's just been such an amazing ride. So what I want you to do is explain to us first what you do.
So, hi, everybody. My name is Jenny Zook. So I also will just preface this very transparently, which is I work in a public school. So I used to be a teacher and I still work part-time, and it's May. And so if you're parents, you know that May is kind of a crazy month. So there may be something happening in the background and I can't control it. So I call myself a style teacher. So I currently have a style school membership where I teach women how to feel their best in their clothes. And my business has morphed quite a bit since Holly and I first started working together. I also build capsule wardrobes for every season. So that's where my business really started. And Holly has been a part of the journey since day one. And so I would love to be able to talk about that too, because there's a lot to be said for somebody who has been with you since the very beginning of your business, which is why I'm still here, because she knows my business inside and out. She's also been a customer for many, many years. And there just is so much value in having somebody who knows the business world. And I am a teacher at heart, and I did not know business at all, like at all. And Holly has been able to help me actually grow an online business to a place where I can I can 100% truthfully say I have an online business, and it runs, and the systems run, and I have a marketing plan, and I have all of the things because of Holly.
Yay. Well, Jenny's capsules are amazing. If you come to our retreat, she actually did a style guide for our retreats on how to prep for branding photos. So you get to kind of experience Jenny a little bit from a retreat perspective. You kind of answered it. I know you've seen these questions before we started, but you went through our regular program, and then we have an alumni program. Why do you keep coming back?
I mean, I keep coming back obviously because of Holly and her expertise and her knowing my business like inside and out. I could go find more business coaches, right? There's a ton of them out there, but there's nobody who knows and goes to the depth of like really understanding your business like Holly does. The personal like attention and just the quality of the service that you're going to get from her is, I think, unmatched. And I will also say the quality of people that Holly attracts into her business and the access you get to her network, and the people that you can learn from who are also a part of the mastermind is really, really priceless. And the people that are now within my network and I have access to and have met simply because of Holly, and is just something that I just have so much gratitude for. And those two things in combination with each other keep me coming back. And keep me coming back. And it's funny that I'm the OG, that I'm like the oldest one.
Not old age-wise.
I know.
Yeah, I love it though. And I think that's the cool part. Like, it's just a big mix. And in true transparency, I did give them the questions ahead of time, but I don't know what they're going to say. I sent them yesterday. Okay. So Jenny has also attended multiple retreats in person and virtually. So explain to us what has made that experience stand out for you.
I mean, I was thinking about this, and honestly, I looked at the questions like 5 minutes before I got on this call because, life. So I didn't do a ton of prep work, but I feel like there's a real parallel to, if any of you are parents on here and you had to send your kids to online school, and then the difference between online school versus face-to-face. You can't put a number on that. You can't compare the two. And going to the retreats and I wish I could go to them every single time. I really do. But, life and schedules and being smart about how you're spending your dollars when it comes to what you're investing in your business. Right. And I think that is something too, that Holly helps guide you along, but being able to go face to face, the energy, the people that she brings to the retreats, and then the other members that you get to meet face to face. It's an experience like no other. And so they're just so powerful. The information that she brings in. I think Holly definitely has an inner teacher in her. Yes, she has such a strong knowledge base, but like the people, we call this like, I don't know, like you meet your students where they're at, right? And she notices the trends and the data and what people and their businesses need. And then she curates that experience in a retreat.
Awesome.
So powerful.
Thanks for sharing. Make sure you guys go follow Jenny, reach out to her if you have questions. We're going to keep going. Otherwise we'll be here for like hours, but I really appreciate you sharing your story.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Kara Lee. So Kara Lee is a current student in the mastermind. This is a really fun story, and this happens a lot inside our community. One, I like to outsource. That's really not like a secret. We talk about a lot. I hired Kara Lee to be like an executive assistant this year, and then she sat through anti-social school, and we had this like aha moment with her business and like flipped her business model in, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks. She has a complete new roster of clients. I think her schedule is completely different. And then she joined the mastermind. So she's actually helping me behind the scenes and is a client at the same time. And a lot of times that happens. Like I hire Jenny to help me, and then I'm like, hey, can you help our students? And so it's a very like, I don't know, it's just one big family. So Kara Lee, are you there? I don't see you. I know you're here.
Yeah, I'm here.
You are. Okay. And well, tell everyone what you do. I know I kind of gave a little intro, but.
So I mostly work with solopreneurs or six-figure business or six-figure CEOs like Holly, to kind of streamline all of their operations and get them really feeling good about things like their schedule by implementing the systems, so you can have more capacity to just do what you really want to do. So whether that's like with a team or if you're solo, then, just really making your schedule work for you. So Holly and I complement each other in that department.
You. In your experience, what makes the Collective Mastermind different?
All right. So I have been in 3 other masterminds in the 5 years of my business. And I mean, I was a little hesitant to join only because of the price point, but that's and I can share more on that too in a minute. But I joined because I saw, obviously I worked for Holly already. I saw the behind the scenes. I saw what she did. I saw what was working. And so I had an inside look into joining, but I can use that to share that with you because Holly actually practices what she preaches here, what she teaches, she actually does. She literally handed me her launch blueprint book and said, can you go create these templates for anti-social school for the launch? Like literally just gave me the resources and I went and did it. And so those are the types of resources you actually get. And then in the mastermind that she showed you earlier, but also the one-on-one support is truly one-on-one. I have never had that in any other mastermind. She like listens and brings in those actual people that you need to really support you in your business. And that was just not my experience in the past. So her retreats are also good, but those were way different than anything else. So basically it was just a completely different experience than what I've had in the past, which is why when she said it's not a mastermind, it's more than that. Like it's really true. So
I love that. I also think, and we'll talk about this at the end, like a lot of people, and I won't go off on a tangent, call a mastermind, and it's not. And so people tend to get like mastermind fatigue or mastermind trauma, like that is a thing. And so I think this is my way of saying it's not that. Okay, the fun part. How has your business grown since joining the mastermind?
All right. So this is actually the fun part because I have been in business for 5 years and I have never before this year made over $5,000 in a single month, which I don't think Holly knows that. And and this year I have made over $5,000 every single month. And that was because I literally changed the business model, as she shared in the beginning, and then used Holly's network and connections to actually get more clients. So that's just in itself is amazing. So now I'm just continuously growing, and so we're gonna keep going. But yeah,
I love that. I think
changing the whole model too. So
the other cool thing is Kara Lee is obviously in the mastermind, but she's also in charge of organizing the portal. So it's like real time. We're like making it better as we go, but she also is a really great operations specialist. So anytime you want to talk about like project management, different types of tools. We were talking yesterday, like she redid our whole like content repurposing strategy using different tools. So it's a really great resource to have sort of in the background as well. So make sure you guys go chat with Carolee. I know she's been chatting with you guys as well, but thank you. All right, Natalie, are you here?
I'm here.
Here you are.
Sorry, I didn't know that. I turned my video off. Sorry.
That's okay. You can turn it on now if you want. Natalie is actually in England, which is really fun because we connected immediately about like the royal family and things that I love about Europe, which was super cool way to sort of get introduced to her. But Natalie is a publicity and PR coach for health and wellness experts. And so it's very cool because what I'm trying to do is show you the different types of businesses that we have inside the mastermind, but also we've had people in it for, 3 or 4 years. And then Natalie just started in January with Carolee. So Natalie, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay, so I'm 50 tomorrow, and I've spent that's just really flipping depressing. Well, it's not, but I've probably spent the past 30 years working in publicity. Thank you. And I pretty much can tell you whatever you do, how to get into the press, but also where you can be. So I suppose it's a bit of a superpower, but I also get myself into the press. So even yesterday, I think the Mail on Sunday and one of the other papers got in touch with me to comment as a PR expert. So I PR myself, and then I teach my clients to PR themselves as well. So I've worked for everyone from Discovery Channel, Animal Planet, CNN, Cartoon Network, Royal College of Art, you name it, I've probably at some point PR'd it. And I've also written 3 books, and yeah.
Yes. Every time I talk to Natalie, I find out something like amazing that she's done, and she just like rolls it off like, oh, I just wrote 3 books, like no big deal. Okay, Natalie, what advice would you give someone considering joining the mastermind?
Okay, what advice would I give? I think we talked about this, Holly, at the beginning, and you still have to do it. As you heard, I'm someone that has a busy brain. I have a lot of ideas, and to a certain degree, I need to be kind of reined in a little bit and focused. So for me, that was part of this, but also even before we started with the mastermind, I didn't have a niche. So I didn't go, I would say, oh, any small business, any business owner. Whereas now I specifically kind of niche down to health and wellness because that's my passion. That's also the thread of my books. And that's also kind of a zone of genius. So when you consider it, I think it's knowing what you want to get from it, although saying that at the same time, it will then take you on a completely different journey. So for example, I also recently, I launched a magazine.
She does, like, this is what Natalie does. She's just like, oh, by the way.
Or last week I moved my website from WordPress to Squarespace, and Holly's like, so it's good for that. It's good to have that kind of focus, and if that's what you need. For me, I also think you have to consider the timing. So for me, I'm a night owl. So actually the timings, the fact that I'm in the UK, it is 5:30 here in the afternoon. That actually works quite well. But also I think the thing is, you've got to do the work. That's the thing. So even when Holly was like talking about the portal, I'm like, oh my God, there's so much that I still have to do. And that I find, but having that focus and then knowing those things are there, and then obviously, you make friendships. And I think the great thing is that this is 9 months. So we have till the end of October or something like that. So actually you kind of find, you find your kind of place within it. And I really like that.
No, I love that. You kind of touched on where I thought we were going with this, but I'm going to see what your answer is. What inside the mastermind, how have we helped you overcome a specific challenge?
Well, I still go off track. I don't think that's ever going to.
Natalie's very creative. Like, she'll come to office hours on Mondays and be like, I redid my website and launched a magazine. And I'm like, wait, I thought we were launching your membership. And so
I think that's the thing, is my brain works very, very fast. So I have to keep that thing. What have I learned? I think the thing is I want to go faster than actually it's humanly possible, because also I have 2 teenage sons. My father has Alzheimer's late stage, and I get frustrated. And I think just knowing, okay, on a Monday, I can come like the other night and cry and be like, oh, there's too much. Or I can come and say, I've done all these things. It's a very safe space. And I think that for me as well, there was no one I knew. So England obviously is way smaller than America, but the general feeling is if you join a mastermind in England, there'll be someone you know or someone know. And I'm just like, I wanted something totally different. So for me, that has been very good.
yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing your story. And I hope that you take some time to celebrate your birthday this weekend.
I started today. I started yesterday, so I'm making a whole year of it.
That was our action item for her on Monday, is to actually take some time off, which, you know, if you go back to how we run office hours, because the program is 9 months, like every week is not like launch this, do this. It's like, hey, you just did a ton. Let's like take a breath for a minute, because we do have this time where we're creating this like sustainable business model. Okay, Nadine, you are next. Nadine and I share a love for retreats, which I didn't put this question on there, but I feel like that's a whole strategy that we've chatted about. And I know there are a couple people inside Slack this week and Experience Week that are looking at retreats. So look at Nadine's model. It's a really great model. But Nadine is a business strategist for bridal seamstresses, which is just so cool to me. She has an amazing brick and mortar shop. Yes, you know Christy. It's been really cool because somehow I have attracted a lot of like bridal industry clients, which maybe that's because of my love of flowers. I don't know. But Nadine, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
So Christy, I'm interested, like, Christy, are you in bridal too? Like, I just lit up.
Yeah,
What?
she did the invites.
Yeah, I design wedding invitations, but I'm in the wedding world and wanting to do workshops and all that stuff, but I'll let you know.
Yeah. So I, like Jenny earlier on the call, I was a classroom teacher in public schools for 9 years. And then I built like my exit strategy with sewing. So I became a bridal seamstress, and it like every time I think back to that, it's like, I feel like it happened so quickly. Like I always have been sewing, I feel like, since I was like in middle school. And then, you know, in adulthood, when I found bridal sewing, it was like, okay, this is where I'm meant to be. And once I kind of honed in on bridal sewing, like everything grew super quickly and I was able to quit my day job. And then I worked from home for like about a year and a half. And then we moved into a brick and mortar, and then it exploded after that. So, yeah, it just grew really quickly. And once I went through all of the struggles of trying to run a business as a teacher and not having any business knowledge under my belt, like I was just like making it up as I went along, I realized like there was this need for other seamstresses like me who we had the sewing skills, but just did not feel comfortable or confident in our business skills. So that's where the podcast was born and the online membership for seamstresses. And so a couple of years ago, we had our first in-person retreat, and then this past year we had our second one that was like 3 times the size of the first one. And then we recently, like just last week, we sold out of our retreat for next January. So there's definitely a need. So I think when I first came into Holly's mastermind, like I already knew exactly what my niche was. I knew what my message was and like who I wanted to reach, but there was just a lot of clunky stuff behind the scenes that would just like really hold me back. And like, I felt weighed down by all the little things in the background.
Yeah, I love that. It's a really cool model. And I think it just goes to show that the strategy that we teach really does help any type of business, because what we do behind the scenes is the customized piece.
Mhm.
Okay. How would you describe the overall culture within the mastermind community?
I think we're all really similar. And part of my hesitation in joining was like, okay, there aren't going to be many like wedding vendors in there, but I wanted to join this mastermind because of that, because I feel like the wedding industry is like such an echo chamber. And like, we hear like the same information, the same kind of trainings. It's kind of like all like the same information. And so I did want to get outside of the wedding world, but I'm like, well, am I really going to like click with people? Like, are we going to get each other? And so I really love that, like, we come from all these different areas, but we really do have the same struggle, like, okay, like time management, or like how to prioritize, like what's most important, or how to get the things done. And so like our office hours calls, I think I cry in a majority of the ones that I show up for.
It's
You know what I mean?
emotional.
I think I cried the first
feel
one, and I was like,
April-
okay, I'm the idiot who cried first. But like, it's very open,
Yeah.
and I always feel better when I go to those calls, because I feel like when I'm hesitant to come to a call because I'm like, I didn't really get much done this week, I hop on and it's like, okay, everybody else literally is feeling the same way, and we can talk through it. And then through Slack, like I love how people share their, what we'd consider like a small win, you know what I mean? Or we celebrate the moves, not just the wins that come from the moves. And so it really keeps you in the right headspace to like keep moving forward.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. I mean, we do talk a lot of strategy, and there are a lot of like action items, take this step. But then other times we'll like completely slow down. We were just talking about how like April was just like a beast. Like everyone was just like, oh my gosh, what happened this month? And so sometimes we'll just like completely flip it and be like, okay, what are we doing to like focus on ourselves? And so it's a very, I think, like holistic conversation.
Yeah.
How did you approach the decision to invest in the mastermind?
I know wherever I spend money is where I'm going to focus my time, and this is where I tell this to my own clients too, when I'm trying to sell my retreat, like, okay, yes, it's a chunk of change, you know what I mean? Like every time we invest financially or with our energy or with our time, there's an investment and there's some kind of sacrifice, but where like I know that where I'm putting my money, I'm going to want to show up, because like that's a sacrifice, So I think I was kind of willing to pay whatever as long as it would get me on track again, because I felt like I was floundering, like there were all these little things that I had to do and I couldn't organize my time, and I knew I needed like accountability. I really love the idea of having like a video vault, because I love homework and I love having like, okay, I'm going to check my way through the previously recorded trainings. Like I love having that. I knew like the like live calls was going to help me stay focused. And so I don't know, it just was the next step that I take. I mean, I understand that it's an investment, but whatever you invest in, as soon as you like make the first payment, there's like a part of your brain that switches and says like, okay, we're showing up, and I know that if I don't show up for whatever the meetings or for the calls, it's like there's that small voice in the back of my mind, like, okay, it's kind of like a really nice gym membership. You know what I mean? Like you can go to what's the $10 a month one, the purple one?
Yeah, Planet Fitness.
Yes. Like if you sign up for Planet Fitness, like I don't know, it's not going to hurt you if you don't go, because it's like, okay, $10 a month. But like when I joined like the Tumwater Valley, which is like the super nice like, athletic center in my area, I'm going to go, you know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of the same thing with this. Like you want to motivate yourself to show up. So it felt kind of like a no-brainer. I don't know if that resonates with anybody else, but it was.
I mean, that's how I make decisions about investments too. So I think that's super helpful. If you guys have questions for Nadine, feel free to reach out to her. Tiffany, you're next, but I see a spelling error on your slide and I hate spelling errors, so I'm gonna fix it really quick. Do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Hey, I'm Tiffany Bourne-Jones. I am, it depends on the day, right? Fractional COO operations director for 6- and 7-figure professional services businesses. And I am a new business, so I officially like kicked off in January, started talking through it at the end of last year. but had come primarily from corporate, from an operations, chief of staff, project management, process improvement background. So that's me.
I love that. I found this photo of you and I was like, I love the glitter that like so represents your personality. Okay, so a couple of things about Tiffany is, I mean, you've had businesses in the past before, and I think similar to me, you had a pretty extensive corporate background. And so a lot of people have similar backgrounds to you and I come into the mastermind and they're starting their business from scratch, but I wouldn't say that they're starting a business from scratch because you have so much experience, right? You're just how you are spending your time and what you're working on is maybe changing a little bit, but you're still doing what you did all those years prior. So first question, what's one thing you wish you knew before joining the mastermind?
So I think, and Holly hit a little bit on this earlier today, you know, coming in, I've had coaches before, and I've joined clubs before. I don't think I realized the resources that were going to come with the mastermind. So like Jenny's email templates. I hate writing emails. I hate writing content. Like I despise it. And so that's been really helpful for me to like have that on there. Nadine kind of mentioned like that accountability factor. So as someone who's been a project manager for years and like have project managed multi-million-dollar like projects, I'm terrible at project managing myself. And so being able to have somebody that can, you know, the whole group really holds me accountable to be like, hey, did you get that done? Was really helpful. And just the resources that are maybe not even posted. So within about, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, Holly, of joining the mastermind, I ended up with an opportunity for a multi-million-dollar company to like to give them a proposal. You know, and so I like start out on Canva, like, what is this going to look like? And I'm like, what am I doing? And so I messaged Holly. I'm like, hey, do you have any like thoughts on this? And within a few hours had some other examples that I could look at. And really that pivoted, I think, the way I was headed from like, yes, I wanted to be professional. I'm an Enneagram 3 for anybody that does that. So I wanted to look a certain way, but I knew also that like I was going up against, you know, McKinsey Consulting and Deloitte Consulting. Like I needed it to be, you know, that next level. And I knew that that's what they were going to bring from a corporate background. And so I wanted to be able to have that as well. So, you know, you've got Jenny's emails, you've got Candace from a sales perspective, and just being able to make those pivots in my business so quickly with those resources.
Yeah, I think that's a really good example because in that case, I actually went through like the vault of what I did in my like consulting days. And I was like, here's a really old PowerPoint, but I think we could use it. And I think that just goes to show like I have a network. Everyone else in this community has a network. So you like never, I mean, we say like you never have to Google anything again because the chances are somebody in our world is going to know what the next step is, or we can very easily find it for you. Okay, last but not least, you came to Austin with us, which was super fun in February. What was your experience like at the retreat?
So something that Carolee mentioned, you know, is it's an investment, right? Like you're joining this mastermind, a little initial sticker shock, right? And I remember having that conversation with my husband because I quit, unlike others who have kind of built this side business as they were in corporate. I was no longer in corporate. So there was no income coming in. Here I am like, oh yeah, I need to sign up for this mastermind. And by the way, there's a retreat. So I know you're working, you know, the next 7 days, but can you manage our children, yourself? And 7.5 and a 1.5, at the time. So he was like, well, if you're doing this, go ahead and go. And I think for me, a few things. One, being able to build the relationships with the other participants, the other people in my mastermind, as well as alumni that I had met there. Having the time to kind of really see like where my business needs to pivot and being able to, what I went into or came into the mastermind with of like, here's my niche or where I think I'm heading has kind of shifted. And that really started during that mastermind of like, during the retreat of like, here's the 2 things I want to focus on. And this one, Holly, you're not going to expect. But I think the other thing that was surprising for me and probably all the other participants, yes, you pay for your hotel and your airfare, but I wasn't expecting that like all the food would be included. And so I don't think I've eaten that well. And I'm from New Orleans originally, like in forever. So we had, that was kind of surprising because other retreats I've been to or other workshops, right? You get there and then you buy your lunch, you buy your dinner. So like being able to just truly enjoy the experience while like taking it all in from not just Holly, Scott, from the speaker, and guest, that was like an extra bonus, I think.
I love that. I also really like food. That's not a secret. So we have snacks all the time, especially if we're working on really hard things. Thank you, Tiffany. Make sure you guys connect with Tiffany. I'm sure she'll answer any of your questions. We have two more, so we're going to try to fit it in before 1:00. Lori, I see you. I think I see you. So Lori is one of our alumni. She's been in the mastermind for a really long time, sort of back to the beginning. She's truly what I call a super mom. Like if you follow her and you see all the things that she gets done in a day, it's like, it blows my mind. But she calls herself a time management coach. So Lori, introduce yourself and tell everyone what you do.
Yes. So I am a corporate leader. I still work full-time in corporate. I never had an intention to leave it. So part of my business build was, how do I do this? How do I build this business and keep this job? Right. And I'm a mom of 4. And I always say that I help busy moms do it all without doing it all. So that is our goal, to feel like we're doing it all, but not actually do it all. So yeah, I wrote the book Secrets of Supermom that turned into the business I have today.
I love that. We're going to go down the retreat path a little bit. And so Lori was a member of our mastermind, then was an alumni, then graduated, attended, I think 1 or 2 retreats while she was a member. And then this past year came back to a retreat. She reached out to me and we were like, hey, let's come back. So I think that just goes to show that like once you're in our world, like you kind of just stay in forever. But what do you think makes the retreats different other than other ones you've attended?
Yeah, I still want to keep attending them, right? Because I think there's such a benefit in getting this focus, right? I said I'm a mom of 4 and I am amazing with my time management, but working on my business at an hour pocket here and an hour pocket there is not focused enough time. And so getting the benefit of the retreat and being able to focus, but the things that I like the best. So obviously Holly makes it a total experience. It's not just learning and then you're off in your hotel room by yourself, right? So you get to connect with everybody else, because those connections, even in the first retreat, let me tell you, the people that I met in the first retreat, 1, I still Voxer message every single day. 2 are in the summit that I have coming up in June. 1, I was just in her summit. I'm talking like we made connections that we have not let go of, right? Madeline is probably going to come help me with my retreat in the fall. So the connections that we made, they didn't stop. And so there's a big experience factor, right? And those connections being made during those experiences. But I actually like the other part, that it is not so big that we don't get individual focus time. So you don't have 50 people there that everyone's learning, which is great, but you get your own personal hot seat. And because you've made the connections in those special moments, they get what your business is doing. They get your personality, they get your blind spots, and they get what you're trying to do. And so the feedback that you get is like bar none. It is just amazing. So I got to walk away from this retreat with a whole plan for my year. I had made that plan, but feeling really good about where to make the tweaks and where to really put the effort.
I love that. Last but not least, how has the mastermind paid off for you?
Yeah, I just told you, I have all these connections that never went away, right? Like I still have all these amazing connections, which is just, it's fantastic. But I think also there were things I wanted to build and I didn't know exactly how to build and how to launch them. So I had a book, I had a podcast, I had a course, but I didn't know how to grow those. I wanted to create a membership and I didn't know exactly how to grow that. So really just getting a lot more of those building blocks in place so that I could grow, launch, and really feel good about the way that I was doing it, because I think Holly just has so much integrity. I think that working with Holly is, it's the top. It is the best program I've ever been in. And I'm so grateful for you.
Yay. Well, I didn't expect you to say that, but thank you. If you guys truly have questions, though, Lori's a great person to ask. She's seen us evolve over the years and sort of how we've changed and changed things. So thank you, Lori. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
All right, Ashley, last but not least, I know we're going a little bit over, but I would love to hear Ashley's story if you're still here.
Yep, I am still here.
Thank you so much. Okay, Ashley, tell everyone what you do.
Yes, I am a weight loss and health coach for women, and I work primarily with corporate moms who want to use anti-inflammatory nutrition to lose weight, but also need a family-friendly approach. So yeah, that's what I do.
I love that. So Ashley just graduated our regular mastermind program and has moved into our alumni. We like to have logos for everything. If you haven't noticed, Madeline helps us design these, something that she can share how to do. And so we call it our inner circle. So I'd love for you to share what's your biggest takeaways that you've gained in the last 9 months.
So I think I was trying to figure out how best to answer this story. And so I'm going to tell a quick, or this question, I'm going to tell a quick little story.
Yeah.
If you have ever been on a weight loss or a health journey, you know that you've probably spent like a couple of years trying to like figure it all out and do the DIY and Lego things together. And at one point you kind of recognize, God, I just want someone to tell me exactly what to do. So when I got to Holly, that was my business. And I came from corporate, and I, like a lot of other women, like I had a lot of skills, but what I recognized is that I really liked being a director. And I had teams to do all those things. And I had people to ask to do all those things. And so for me, I think my biggest takeaways from this experience have been the absolute need to have yourself surrounded with the right kinds of people who can give you exactly what you need in order to be successful. And, you know, a couple of people have already mentioned this, and it is so true. With Holly, I think there was probably a good 6-week run where we were in Slack every day or multiple times a day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, help me with this. And she'd help me with this and be like, okay, I did that. Now tell me what to do. Like, I just needed some structure around all the things. I had a million ideas and I needed some structure. And so what I came out of the mastermind with is this incredible foundation for my business that runs, as Holly likes to say, you know, like you have all the things, now we can pivot, we can try different things in different ways to increase revenue and increase engagement, all that kind of thing in the way that you build your business and get new people on board. So everything is organized. Everything that you need is truly, truly here, whether it's the people she's connected with or the information she knows or the other people that you meet within the community or the ginormous library of resources. It's really here, and it doesn't feel overwhelming. And if you need Holly, she's like there every day if you need her. It's awesome.
Amazing. Thank you. Last but not least, and I strategically planned this as the last question, what would you tell someone on the fence about joining?
Yeah. So if you look back to January 2023, I was laid off from my corporate job, and I had already started building my business on the side. So I took that as the universe's sign to say, hey, Ashley, do this thing full time. And my severance payments ended at the end of March, and I knew that I had to have a hysterectomy in May. And I was like, okay, I'm joining this mastermind. It starts in May. I really hope this works. And truly the thing that I would not have been able to get where I am today were it not for the mastermind. And Holly, the team, the community, it kept me moving forward, even though I was recovering, which was a surgery recovery, even though I had, lost my job and sort of feeling the feels about that. It kept me from getting stuck. It kept me with like a forward trajectory. I'm a doer. I get things done. I hold myself accountable, but it was an extra layer of accountability that I didn't know that I needed. And so wherever you are, if you feel like, well, I've got a lot of corporate skills or, I can probably figure this stuff out, it really you can't understand. Hopefully this week has given you a good understanding of absolutely everything, the support, the camaraderie, the resources that you get. It feels like a scary investment for sure. Believe me, I know that, but it definitely will help to move you out of your comfort zone and to push you to do things that build faster and get there faster. And Holly has all of those resources. They're all tucked inside. So it's definitely the best investment you can make to your business.
Okay, I'm popping back in at the end of those interviews. Isn't that so good? I don't know. It warms my heart to just hear and see the community that we've created. So I hope you enjoyed hearing from our awesome community. If you would like to learn more details about how to join our mastermind this season, including some special bonuses we have this summer, just head on over to hollymariehaynes.com/mastermind, or just DM me mastermind and fill out the application. Now, you may have heard me say this on the live call, but filling out the application means just having a conversation. I always say, like, I'm a real human. I'm the one that answers the emails. I will work with you to see if it's a good fit, or I'll make a recommendation of how I can help you in other ways, or even recommend somebody else that I think might be able to help you as well. So it's a win-win. I hope that you loved hearing from our students and our community, and I will chat with you soon.